During the World Series Victory Parade on November 1st, the Dodgers paid LAPD $1.7 million, $290,000 went to the fire department. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tavis, Smiley, and we had an outstanding first hour, and I look for even more in this hour. 2024 was a big year. We just spoke to Connie Rice and Brianna Joy Gray and Michael Fontroy about the year that was politically. And I say was because it ain't, I'm saying was, but it ain't quite over yet. We were just talking literally in our first hour about breaking news today. Republicans want to investigate Liz Cheney. The Teamsters are on strike, pushing back on Amazon. What else did we talk about in the first hour in terms of breaking news? Of course, the big breaking news today is that Fani Willis has been disqualified from prosecuting Donald Trump in that Georgia case. So even as we are making our way limping out of this year, as it were, there is still breaking news even as we speak. But we're spending 3 hours today trying to look back on the year that was. And again, we had a great first hour. And I'm delighted about the hour that we're about to engage right now. In this hour, Ashley Woodard Henderson, Marcus Hunter, Ruben Navarrete Jr., delighted to have them all with us to continue dissecting 2024 and trying to get some sense of what we think the future holds for us in 2025. We made the point in the first hour today that 1968 was a very, very, very big year. There's some years in American history that historians just can't stop dissecting, can't get enough of unpacking and unearthing. 1968 comes to mind for all the obvious reasons. Bobby Kennedy, MLK, so much going on. In 1968, it's a year that we've seen books and film and documentaries. I suspect, again, as I said in the first hour, that 2024 is going to be one of those years that the historians are going to have a field day trying to write about in the months and years to come. But I'm pleased in this hour to have, again, Ashley Woodard Henderson, Marcus Hunter, and Ruben Navarrete Jr. to try to make sense of the year that was. Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Tavis?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm doing well. Ruben Navarrete Jr., how are you, sir?
Very good, my friend. Good to be with you.
It's good to have you on, and we are getting Marcus on a Zoom connection, so we're getting Marcus Hunter lined up even as we speak. When he's here, we'll pull him in. But let me get started with Ashley and with Ruben. So, Ashley, let me come to you first, because I'm each of these hours is uniquely different in that there's so much to talk about this year. One of the things I want to get to in this hour is what we think the future looks like for black folk in particular, given what we have endured in 2024. And I don't want to color it any more than that. I want to give you all the canvas you need to paint. But given what you've seen happen in this year, What's your sense of what 2025 portends for black folk in particular?
I think there's a lot to discuss here, Tavis.
Oh, yeah.
We've been bringing folks to talk about this all year. So I'll do a little bit of a reminder of things that you've already talked about, and then I'll share a little bit about what I think that means for next year.
Sure.
One is the right wing has been very, very clear, MAGA and the GOP, about what their plans are for 2025. They, in fact, wrote a whole document called Project 2025, this policy blueprint that's created by the far-right think tank, the Heritage Foundation, to institutionalize the broligarchy and Trumpism and gut the checks and balances that protects us, or that are at least supposed to be protecting us, so that MAGA extremists can control the government and our lives. And, you know, we'll talk about how that in particular is going to impact us. But we've been knowing that the Trump campaign's promises, the Republican Party platform, and Project 2025 are basically the same thing all year. It's why we've been telling people that November 5th was going to be very, very important to come out to, whether you like the Democratic Party candidate or not, to stop this fascist agenda. And so, you know, now that Trump is the incoming president, he and his millionaire class, billionaire class buddies are making wild appointments all across the administrative branches of our government. And I think it would be really, really easy to only talk about the way that Project 2025 is going to impact us. So I want to give you a fuller, more honest assessment of what's going to happen, too. What's going to happen is that there's also corporate Democrats who are, like, basically holding power, continuing to sort of centralize centrists in their political ideology and their strategy to move governing power in the Democratic Party. Also still sometimes putting profit over people, and sometimes still catering to an older generation that doesn't want to see the transformation of the Democratic Party. So we're going to see struggles inside the GOP. We're going to see struggles inside the Democratic Party, who's still trying to find their identity post getting pretty beat down at the top of the ticket. But that's not what you want me to talk about. You don't want me to talk about the Democrats. So what I'm going to talk about is Project 2025. And I just want to be clear, there's going to be a lot of noise of folks saying that Project 2025 is something that's going to take a lot of time. But I want to remind folks that there are things that Project 2025 allows Trump to do day one of his presidency. That was, in fact, the whole point of pulling together Project 2025. And how that's going to impact Black people is in a plethora of ways across the, 30-some-odd chapters of this document. They're going to come after anti-discrimination laws. They're going to cut essential worker protections that is going to, of course, disproportionately impact Black workers. They're gonna limit our access to quality education, right? We've already seen the fight around what they will say is the critical race theory, CRT. What we know is actually accounting for the real, honest struggle for civil rights protections in this country. And even further than that, we know that they're talking about totally dismantling the Department of Education, which is supposed to actually protect our schools and stop, discriminatory discipline practices. They're pushing to stop people from eliminating student loans so that people can actually have income-based repayment options to get out of student debt. They're undermining Black political power. That's already happening, right? Yeah. We've seen the attacks on folks like Chokwe Antar Lumumba and Jackson. Sure. So many others. So I could go on for days about the things that they could do literally on day one. So we should expect that we're going to be in a fight for our lives in the next year.
The question I put to Ashley Wood Henderson a moment ago is what this year, 2024, says to her about the future of Black folk in particular. That's her answer. Glad we got the whole hour to sort of unpack some of this. When we come forward, I'll put that same question to Marcus Hunter, professor at UCLA, what he feels, what he sees on the horizon for Black folk in particular, given what we have seen in terms of a setup in 2024. And I want to put the Brown question, of course, to Ruben Navarrete Jr., based on what he has seen this year. What's his sense of what next year looks like for the Brown community writ large? It's 3 hours unpacking the year of 2024. Had a great first hour with Connie and Brianna Joy and Michael. Gonna have a great second hour with Ashley and Marcus Hunter and Ruben Navarrete Jr. Gonna have a great third hour with Cornel West and Jesse Jackson Jr. and Nina Turner and Nee Quarterly Corte. It's a great 3 hours today on Tavis Smiley.
interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
It's that holiday time of year. Give the gift of hearing to you or a loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today. Audien Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com. Hurry, don't miss Audien Hearing's Christmas sale live, now through December 15th.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
On behalf of the Heirs family, KBLA Talk 1580 announces the public funeral services for our very own Robin Heirs on Saturday, December 21st, 12 noon, in the living room at the Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. Robin will be sorely missed by all who knew her and the many lives she touched. We will hold on to our fondest memories forever. Family and friends are invited to come celebrate Robin's joyful life Saturday, December 21st at 12 noon in the living room at Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. KBLA Talk 1580 extends sincere condolences to the Heirs family. Robin will always be in our hearts. And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Marcus Hunter out of UCLA, what does 2024 suggest to you about the future of black folk?
Yeah, 2024 feels like an opportunity to really think we're 160 years since Project 1865. And so now we have Project 2025. And really, I think the challenge for Black people is to remain on your square, to not allow the distraction and confusion that we know happens. We've experienced 4 years of this kind of administration, and we're already seeing the confusion and all of the antics going in, to not allow ourselves to get removed from a place where we saw, for the most part, the Black political bloc come out in a very unified way. So how do we keep that unity moving forward, especially because it was hard fought? It started off with a presidency that was going to be involving Trump and Biden, and then all of a sudden we had 107 days, to elect the first Black woman president. And though that didn't happen in the way that many people hoped, I do think that we got a lot of interior news about Black politics that we normally don't get outside of a presidential season. And so the idea is, how can we use those lessons and move it forward in an agenda that also holds the Democrats accountable for understanding that Black people are their major bloc. They're the people who support you. They're your most loyal turnout, but your agenda is not unapologetically Black. So how do we meet that difference? And some of that comes through the idea of Hakeem Jeffries possibly being Speaker of the House in a midterm if Black people turn out again.
Tell me more about what some of your takeaways were from those 107 days.
Yeah, one of my major takeaways, and this will sound a little maybe delusional to some people, a little crazy, but on some level, I think Kamala did win, and maybe not won the presidency, but she did in 107 days turn out 226 electoral college votes, over 70 million votes, which is more than Hillary Clinton did after 25 years of public, attention and offices. So there's something to be said for seeing that happen in 107 days. And also that a lot of people went into that election believing that a black woman could be president of the United States. And I think there's something to hang some optimism on in that imagination that people had. And also to understand that people got very clear about where Black politics stands relative to issues like Project 2025, or where issues stand relative to issues of like affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion. And so it's a very clear sense of where Black politics was in 2024 relative to right-wing politics, relative to left-wing politics, and also just thinking a lot about issues that didn't exactly get their time in the sun, like reparations, which we know about 43 cities and multiple states are engaged in that work as well. And though it didn't get a spotlight, we know that that work is going to continue, perhaps under a much more targeted framework because of its reparative justice leanings.
Different community, same question, Ruben Navarrete Jr. Based on what you have seen in real time in 2024, what's your assessment of what 2024 means for your community in 2025 and beyond?
So I think the theme for Latino Americans, there's 62 million Latinos in the country, 1 out of every 5 Americans is Latino at this point. The theme of 2024 was division. Division within the community. It's something we saw in the Black community. We saw in the brown community. For me, one of the more interesting dynamics at work was, separating the Mexican Americans that I live with now and around, the people in my social strata, the people who, went away to college and left their small towns versus my folks back home in that small town in Central California where I grew up. So I have think of it as who's on your Facebook page, right? Mm-hmm. Who's on my Facebook page? I've got people I went to college with. I've got people I grew up with and went to elementary school with. And they're all Mexican American. They're all Latino in many cases. And they differed on this election. A lot of the folks back home are more conservative and they voted for Donald Trump. And the folks that I associated with, who I went to college with, did not. So I think the theme for Latinos is division. It was really easy, and it is always easy for Latinos to look for a boogeyman, to blame somebody else. It was all those racists who turned out, who couldn't vote for a Black woman, or a misogynist and sexist who couldn't vote for a woman. It was more complicated than that. It was Latinos who saw something and heard something in Donald Trump's message, who really didn't see anything coming from the Democrats, who did not like Joe Biden, who felt he stayed in too long, who felt that Kamala Harris had run a terrible campaign, that was risk-averse. She wouldn't go to even some of the safe venues. She wouldn't come on your show. She wouldn't go speak before Black journalists live at their convention. She had to do it at a later event. Donald Trump went everywhere, talked to everybody, and I think that all was being processed by Latino voters. So I think there's that split, and that split, my friend, is going to carry us into 2025. It's only going to get worse. That division within the Latino community, ideological and others, is going to get worse because there are a lot of folks out there, Mexican Americans, who are tired of hearing from the elites. They hate the elites. They hate the media. They've been left wanting by the Democratic Party, and they found a home with Trump and Trumpism and MAGA. And these are folks you sit down with Christmas dinner with, right? It's an interesting thing to sit down at the table with an aunt and an uncle who went for MAGA, and on the other side, another aunt and uncle who went for Harris. That's where we're at, and we're going to continue to be there. And I think that one of the things that the smarty pants folks in my community, the people who, because they went to college, think they know everything, those Mexican Americans, those Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and others need to pause a bit and think about what they're missing as to why that message on the right resonated with so many members of our community.
For those who may have never heard Ruben Navarrete Jr. before on this program, and I think most of you have, if you listen every day, and I hope that means you, and you. But Ruben and I have been friends for 30 years, and I keep him around, one, because he's a great friend, but also because I like to have somebody to beat up on every now and then. And so, as you can tell, his politics are more conservative than Marcus's or Ashley's, and that's okay. I like mixing it up every now and then. I'm going to come back to Ruben a little bit later to talk specifically about these mass deportations that Trump has promised, specifically aimed at his community and whether or not, not whether or not how he views that. But I want to go back to Ashley now. I want to just mix this up and get everybody involved here. So, Ashley, I'm processing a number of things. We'll get back to Project 2025, I suspect, as we move through this hour. But I had Ben Crump on this program a couple of days ago. Ben been on this program a lot over the course of the year, a dear friend. And we were talking about the year of 2024 and some of the major cases that Ben Crump had. Ben had a few $100 million settlements this year as it relates to black people being maltreated by our justice or injustice system. He had one settlement just a few days ago for $310 million. And so we were talking about his continuing fight to raise the value of black life, at least in the court system. But Ben had a pretty good year getting some modicum of justice, and I recognize the money doesn't bring back the beloved, but he had a successful, quite a good year in a number of major cases, including Henrietta Lacks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. On the other hand, I'm thinking about Jordan Neely being choked to death on that subway in New York. And the white former Marine who did that, Daniel Penny, getting away with it. Of course, Jordan Neely's father has filed a civil suit against Mr. Penny, but he got away scot-free on the criminal charges. So you see where I'm going here. I'm of two minds here when it comes to the way that black folk are regarded or not regarded at this moment in American history. I digress, and I pass the mic to you.
Yeah, I mean, if we thought that it was going to be difficult to win actual transformative justice for black communities in relationship to law enforcement, court accountability under the Democratic Party's leadership of this country, we know not only because of our lived experience that that's going to be particularly difficult under a white Christian nationalist, MAGA-informed administration, but we don't even have to guess about it. It doesn't even have to be qualitatively true. They have literally written out a plan that continues to support counterproductive public safety proposals with even less accountability for law enforcement and for the courts, and with even more punishment of black communities, everything from overrepresenting us and increasing the amount of the usage of the death penalty to more money for policing that we know is just a broken system that is not actually serving us, to eliminating consent decrees and so many other things. So I think we should expect that there's going to be more criminalization of blackness just as a thing that exists, an identity that exists that was man-made in this country anyway. And certainly that then our dissent, our protest of it will also be criminalized. I mean, Trump has already made it very, very clear that to criticize him is to become an enemy of him and of the state, which he is trying to encompass all power to govern by himself with the support of his billionaire brothers. So we should be concerned, and we should be doing now what is necessary to join organizations, to support financially organizations, to develop the strategies in our communities to keep our people safe together.
Yep. Let me circle back to Ruben right quick before I go to Marcus again, only because Ashley just said something I don't want to miss out on right quick here. Ruben, what's your read? I haven't had a chance to talk to you publicly or privately since Donald Trump beat down ABC, or put another way, in my view, ABC caved in that case, giving him $16 million. Then the next day, as I predicted, he sued the Des Moines Register. Now he's going after others. What's your sense of what this year tells us, what this year portends for how the news media is going to treat or back away from, you tell me, Donald Trump over the next 4 years?
It's been a mess. You know, one of the things that Donald Trump has as part of his legacy, and I'm a never Trumper from the beginning, is that he's destroyed the media from within. We took a lot of our rule books and we threw them out the window. I've been a working journalist for 35 years. You know, they sat me down and said, these are the rules. You're not allowed to publish an anonymous op-ed in the New York Times about somebody. But we did that about Donald Trump. And as the media began to bend more of its rules, it exposed itself, and it led itself open to these kinds of lawsuits. And there's a devilish game going on with the Trumpsters, where they're going to be suing these media companies and using the money to fund Trump's presidential library, which is what the ABC money is going to go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the ultimate joke's going to be on the media for trying to destroy Trump. They're going to be paying for his library. So he's serious about that. He's made good on those threats, and we've left ourselves exposed because when I and others have tried from within the media to complain and say, well, we shouldn't be breaking our rules this way, they say, well, you're just pro-Trump. You must be for Trump. You must be for Trump. And in reality, we broke our rules, and we're going to be made to pay for it.
Let me just ask you a point-blank question so I'm clear on what you're saying. Is it your view that ABC caved, which is my view, as I said a moment ago, or that ABC got what it deserved? I'm trying to make sure I understand your point.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. They got what it deserved because, like the rest of the media, for George Stephanopoulos in that interview to have played loose about the definition of rape, he stepped in it, right? He's a paid communicator. He just signed a new deal with ABC News. He makes $20 to $25 million a year. It's not asking too much that the brother understand the English language and how to use it. Okay? We expect that from him. He blew it. But did they cave? Absolutely, because you know how media companies work. ABC decided, you know what? We can pay $15 million now, or we can go through the public embarrassment of a trial, take an enormous hit to our brand, and pay a lot more in the long run.
Yep.
So, yeah, they caved, and, yeah, they messed up.
I've got 90 seconds here right now. We'll continue when we come forward. But, Marcus, I got headphones on, so I can hear you when you grunt or when you snicker. I'm not sure what I heard, but as Ruben was talking about ABC, I heard something come out of your vocal cords. What did I hear?
Yeah, you just heard the laughter at how the reality TV president is flipping the script on the people who are supposed to be objectively following him and revealing that maybe they haven't been all that objective, which then, confirms his thesis, which many people believe about what they call the legacy media, that they are not objective. And so I just took the point where now they're going to fund his library, which is supposed to give out information. And so very interesting how he's ahead in the information warfare of it all. And the news media is now paying his bills.
2024, a big year. So it takes 3 hours to cover what was and to try to get some sense, imagine what is to come. I'm honored in this hour to have Ashley Woodard Henderson, Marcus Hunter, and Ruben Navarrete Jr. More of this rich dialogue when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. A Georgia appellate court has disqualified Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from prosecuting President-elect Trump in the 2020 election interference case, citing her relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. This decision could hinder efforts to try Trump and his co-defendants. Kevin Underwood, convicted of the 2006 murder of 10-year-old Jamie Rose Boland, is set to be executed today in McAlester, Oklahoma. The execution follows the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board's decision against recommending clemency. President Biden will sign a bill officially designating the bald eagle as the national bird following efforts by Minnesota's congressional delegation. The bill passed the House on Monday and has been sent for his signature. And Week 16 of the NFL season kicks off with the LA Chargers hosting the Denver Broncos at SoFi Stadium on Thursday Night Football. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hello? You gotta get your story straight. What an idiot. Get it through your noodle. Don't give a rat's behind. That's baloney.
A new era begins.
And I'm just getting started.
Judy Justice.
Check your local listing to watch Judy Justice. Out now.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
A very important game for the Chargers tonight at SoFi. They play the Denver Broncos in a game that will have major implications on the AFC playoff picture. Denver is 9-5. They can clinch a playoff spot if they beat or tie the Chargers tonight. Denver is currently the number 6 seed in the AFC playoffs. The 8-6 Chargers are in the 7th and final seed. They need a win tonight to avoid dropping out of playoff contention. 5:30 kickoff on Prime. The Lakers and Clippers are back in action tonight. The Lakers are at Sacramento. The Clippers are at Dallas. From the Now It Can Be Told department, the Dodgers paid just over $2 million to the Los Angeles Police Department and the LA Fire Department for their services during the World Series victory parade on November 1st. The Dodgers paid LAPD $1.7 million. $290,000 went to the fire department. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on.
Here come the drums. At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
New deals on last-minute gifts just dropped at Lowe's. Right now, get your choice of a Cobalt 8-piece standard or metric ratchet wrench for just $39.98. That's a $60 savings. Valid 12/19 through 12/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
I was so excited when I heard this sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
you're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The revolution will not be televised.
This is Brother Cornell West. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm full of joy and delight to announce that I'm joining the precious family at KBLA Talk 1580, founded and led by my dear, dear brother Tavis Smiley himself. Yes, the name of the show is Truth Time, and I'll be working with the inimitable Nina Turner out of Cleveland, Ohio, sister of great vision, and we will be on weekdays at 12 noon. We will be following Brother Tavis Smiley's show. We will begin Monday, January the 6th. That's right, Monday, January the 6th. Get ready for a different kind of insurrection. We coming with Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Curtis Mayfield and Aretha Franklin, and gonna add a little Gil Scott-Heron too, as Nina Simone sits at the center. That's right.
The revolution will be live.
That's what we gonna do. Please come with us on this fantastic voyage.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
Freedom is an endless meeting, So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Marcus Anthony Hunter, you mentioned reparations earlier in this conversation. I want to come to that right quick, and I'm sure Ashley will want to opine on this as well. But I start with you, Marcus, because you mentioned it, and I said in the first hour that labor has had a pretty good run the last couple of years, and we talked about that in light of the fact that the Teamsters are now striking against Amazon. That news out today. So labor's had a pretty good run the last couple of years, but so has reparations. We've had a good run. Never mind my disappointment and the disappointment of many others about what happened here in California and the way Gavin Newsom, I think, just played the Black Caucus in our legislature here. Put a pin in that for now. But reparations has had a good run. But now you got Donald Trump in the White House. Does all that progress come to a screeching halt?
That's a great question, and I know many in the movement are thinking about that right now, especially with the idea of reclassifying many nonprofits as terrorist organizations. And as you probably know, many of the folks who are behind the reparations momentum, many of them are coming out of nonprofits and community organizations. So there's a lot of concern. I think one of the things that we do know is that we didn't really see any real federal progress or federal acknowledgement even of California's first in the nation efforts. And so in some ways, the movement has already been a part of an environment where at the federal level, you're not getting the acknowledgement or inclusion or even action that you might. And so I think what you're going to see is an increase in local and state efforts and more cities, towns, municipalities going in that direction to create a larger voice and a larger push. I think at the same time, though, even in the lead in to Donald Trump becoming president again, we heard him giving out what I would call like grievance grants. And then immediately in the media, it started getting framed as Donald Trump giving reparations to white people. And I think it's really important that we remember that, not to just use that word carelessly, because there's still a whole bunch of education that people need to have about what reparations is and what we're talking about. And so one of my eyes and ears of concern and I'm attending to is how will that word get used and will it get misused? And it already has started that way. And so we want to also make sure that we do some protection and guardrails around that word so people understand what it is. And again, this is back to what I started out with, to not get knocked off your square through the distraction and confusion method that has worked 4 years ago. And hopefully we have some new techniques around dealing with it, because we're seeing that more of it is coming.
Ashley?
Yeah, I totally agree. I want to be super duper clear about reparations actually having a denotation, not just a connotation. It's a word that means something. And that if it doesn't include the cessation of the harm that is actually the causation for the reparations, then it isn't complete. If it doesn't include divesting from the systems and the infrastructure that allows for the harms to be impactful in our communities in the first place and invested in community solutions, it is not reparations. If there are not guarantees of non-repetition, et cetera, there's so many specific things that we need to see to be able to adequately call it repair and reparation. And I appreciate the Movement for Black Lives' incredible work to remind us in a 21st century context of what that word means. And just want to double down on what our brother just said, that we've already seen folks prioritizing local and statewide fights, not just about reparations, but about social and economic justice in general in the first place. And I think we should expect that people are going to do that while not minimizing the importance of keeping the pressure on the federal government, particularly Democrats who are in alignment with us and never Trumpers that are in alignment with us, to just slow down the gears of the authoritarian threat that he is causing to our country. And so that's the work, I think, of all of next year, is to build our united front and continue to call out the lies and wedge the contradictions inside of the GOP.
I could argue, and in fact, I think I will, Ruben. I will argue that the flip side of reparation is deportation. And Donald Trump has promised mass deportation, and that's going to impact a lot of people, but principally your community, the Brown community. You take him at his word in 2025?
Somewhat. I don't think he's going to be able to deliver on mass deportations. The mass is going to get in the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to move out of the country, 10 million people, the apparatus just isn't there to do it. We know this because during Barack Obama's 8 years, he deported over 3 million people. That's the record holder. He is, in fact, the deporter in chief.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for that to work, you have to leave the lights on 24/7. The apparatus is such that you can only deport about 400 to 450,000 people a year at maximum. The idea somehow that you can move out more people than that, it's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
But here's what I look forward to. I think there will be a significant number of deportations, and I think that it will create a great amount of turmoil. And on one level, I'm rooting for it because it is very clear to me, having studied the immigration debate for 3 decades now, that one of the consequences of this is that the GOP is going to blow up. The Republican Party will destroy itself over this because the business community ain't having it.
Mm-hmm.
The business community that supports the Republican Party, they know those words that strike fear into the heart of every Republican, including the president. I'm stopping payment on the check, buddy.
Yeah.
And as soon as that comes to pass, I think you'll see a rebellion within the GOP over some of these deportations, and it'll be something to watch.
Ashley, you hear Ruben talking now about the coming implosion of the GOP, given the way they're tracking on this immigration issue, specifically of these deportations that Donald Trump has promised. That's the GOP. You raised this earlier. I want to come back to it now. The Democratic Party has a reckoning as well. And again, post-Trump, the Republican Party has to figure out what it's going to be and what it's going to look like. But the Democratic Party is engaged in a reckoning right now. What do you make of it, Ashley?
Yeah, I think two things. First, to the previous question, I also just want to be clear that immigrants are not just Latinos. Right?
That's true.
Like, there are Black immigrants. They make up about 8% of all immigrants in this country.
Indeed.
And their population is growing in the U.S. It's already increased from like 2.3% from 2012 to 2022. So just want to be clear that our Black folks, our skin folks from sub-Saharan Africa and South America and Europe are also coming here. People from the Caribbean, our Haitian brothers and sisters and siblings are coming and catching hell from the GOP. So just want to also raise folks like the Haitian Bridge Alliance, like the Black Alliance for Just Immigration and others that are also doing the United We Dream and others that are doing incredible work to combat anti-Blackness inside the immigrant justice movement. And then to the Democrats, let's just be really, really super clear. Again, I talked about the noise that we've heard and that we're going to probably continue to hear around the narrative of what just happened that includes that Trump won in a landslide. We know that is not true, that it was actually the real case. And I think we'll get this confirmation in March when we have a little bit clearer number of what the popular vote actually was beyond the exit polls, is that it was very close. It was almost 50-50, didn't win the majority, right? And quite frankly, that the vast majority of folks in this country that were eligible to vote didn't vote, and that a huge portion of our country actually is disenfranchised from being able to vote on purpose. That's not even including what we're going to find out about people who had applied for absentee ballots and never got them and all those sorts of things.
Yep.
I'm not trying to say that Trump did not win, but those things are going to have to be taken into account. And for the Democrats, too, to not take a real account of what it means to cater to the center and to totally dismiss the needs and desires of working class people for the sake of corporate donations, I think is going to be something that if they don't reckon with, they're going to lose. Yeah. And we know that in this season, the vast majority of our folks and the electorate in particular have said that they think that the two-party system doesn't work at all. We need to be pushing the Dems to be more in alignment with working class people, to do something about the economy that is going to actually be felt in our pocketbooks in a way that they can actually take credit for. And we need to build the alternative. I think the work of the Working Families Party has been incredible towards saying that we need to actually be building fusion voting in this country so that our people's voices can be heard.
We talked a lot about that in our first hour with Brianna Joy Gray and Connie Rice about other options beyond the red team and the blue team. Very quickly, to put a finer point on the issue that Ashley was just discussing, we had John Nichols on yesterday from The Nation magazine, and they've done the research on this. You dig into the numbers. It was not a landslide. It was presented as a landslide on election night, but here's the real math. If Kamala Harris could have swung 115,000 votes the other way in 3 states, she would have won this election. 115,000 votes. If they swing differently in Wisconsin, Michigan and Pennsylvania, she wins. That's the data. You're listening to Ashley Woodard Henderson, Marcus Anthony Hunter, and Ruben Navarrete Jr. on Tavis Smiley right now, and I'm glad about it.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been hearing me guest host here on KBLA Talk 1580, and I'm having a blast. But I'm excited about joining the official lineup here at KBLA Talk 1580 starting Monday, January 6th at 1 p.m. Start your day with First Things First and Dominique DePrima at 6 a.m. Check out Tavis Smiley at 9 a.m. Tune into Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon, and then tap in with me on The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. weekdays. I served 17 years in the U.S. Congress, and I can tell you it's going to be a rough 4 years, so let's navigate this journey together. It's The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, starting Monday, January 6th at 1 p.m. on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does. My time is getting tight. In our next hour, you'll hear the voices of Cornell West and Nina Turner and Nee Cordelai-Corte and Jesse Jackson Jr. Marcus Anthony Hunter. Jesse Jackson Jr. is on that list of persons that the president could pardon between now and January the 20th. A quick word from you on how the president needs to step up his pardon game.
Oh, absolutely. I know that there are many orgs that have put in letters of request. I was working with Ben Crump, who you mentioned earlier. We talked about Marilyn Mosby and Michelle West that I know Kimba Smith has been pushing for. And for folks who don't know, you can follow the hashtag Free Michelle West. And what you'll find is that she was sentenced under the Biden initiated, when he was a senator, the mandatory sentencing laws as a nonviolent first-time offender around drugs. And she was framed and all these other things, and she's been in jail the whole time. Her daughter, who is an incredible fashion stylist, Mikkel West, out in Los Angeles, her whole life. And so part of what we want to see is for him to attend to pardoning and giving clemency to all of those Black women who have been incarcerated under policies that he championed in the 90s, and they're still there. And so definitely going hard on that, I think for sure. I think the other thing, just to point to a point you said right before at the end of the last segment, that there were 115,000 votes that if they would have gone a different way could have meant that Kamala became president. One of the states you mentioned was Pennsylvania. As you know, I was raised up in Philly,
Sure.
and so I always identify with Philly. And one thing that fascinated me in the outcomes from the election was that 1 in 4 Black men in Philly voted for Trump. And this goes to the conversation about Latinos and others, that we're thinking a lot about the mass deportation in terms of living in the country. But I'm also wondering about the political mass deportation of these 1 in 4 Black men, of these Latinos, of the Puerto Ricans who said they didn't vote but did vote, all of these other things from the Republican Party. He's bringing a lot of people to that RNC convention that usually are not there. And I'm wondering about how that will look when they're socially mass deportated from that party as well.
Powerful point. Powerful point. As we push toward our third and final hour today with Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., Nicola Cortez, and Nina Turner, a final question for Ashley Woodard Henderson, Marcus Anthony Hunter, and Ruben Navarrete Jr. when we come forward. And here's the question that I've been asking all of our guests today, and we'll do so again in the third hour. What does the resistance look like for you? What does the resistance look like for you in 2025, given what we have seen in 2024? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from Nitsa and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby!
Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited!
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and Nicola Cortez back-to-back?
Oh my God!
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DePrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580. It's going up.
That's what I want.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
I've got 3 minutes left here, just enough time to give each of our guests in this hour 1 minute. Ashley Woodard Henderson, Marcus Anthony Hunter, Ruben Navarrete Jr. to answer the following question. What does the resistance look like for you over the next 4 years, however you define that? Ruben Navarrete Jr., you first.
Brother, I'm not doing anything in the next 4 years that I did during the first Trump term. I'm going to think about everything I did last time and do the opposite this time. And that is that because last time didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
I think it's foolish to double down, triple down on a resistance strategy. It didn't work out well the first time. I'm going to be pivoting. I'm going to be a moving target. I'm going to be much more subtle in my critiques and criticisms of the Trump administration. I wrote a Substack this morning at Navarrete the Nation Substack saying and imploring my media colleagues, please, 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 in the next 4 years, don't hit on Donald Trump because he puts ketchup on steak. Don't hit on Donald Trump because he goes to McDonald's. Let's try to keep it serious. He's going to do some really bad things. Let's report on the bad things and not be juvenile and trivial in the way we pursue it.
Marcus Anthony Hunter, what's resistance look like for you over the next 4 years?
Yeah, I think the resistance is in the context where we're going to see the invention of the trillionaire and also a great time of accumulation, especially through cryptocurrency. And so for me, resistance looks like people thinking about an opportunity to accumulate, to agitate and activate for issues that we know that the party that received over $1.5 billion wasn't able or didn't take on. So how can we fund our own issues so that we can get movement and progress in ways that we want to see?
I started this hour with Ashley. I close this hour with Ashley Woodard Henderson. Ashley, what's resistance look like for you?
We love you, Tavis. I mean, let's just be straight up. We already know what time it is. Trump is the boss who doesn't pay us on time. He's the landlord that raises our rent. He builds private clubs and golf courses for the rich to hang out in with his buddies. And laugh at the rest of us. He and his buddies are looking to make themselves richer and us poorer. They're building their power at our expense, and we won't be idle and give our power away to them or to the corporate den. We're going to block and build. We're going to block the MAGA forces. We're going to block the oligarchy, and we're going to build BIPOC-led, people of color-led, power-building strategies made up of goodwill, people of goodwill across our class backgrounds that center the needs and the demands of working families. That's our work, and I can't wait to live in the new world where we've actually built enough power to not be in the situation ever again.
Ashley Woodard Henderson has served honorably for many years at the Highlander Center. I know she's stepping away from that basically at the end of this year, so I love her for the work and witness she's done at Highlander. Marcus Anthony Hunter, brilliant professor. They are blessed to have him at UCLA, and always delighted to be in conversation with him. And Ruben Navarrete Jr., my friend of 30 years, who is the host of the Ruben in the Center podcast. You heard him mention his Substack pieces that he puts out every day, the most widely read Latino columnist in the nation, courtesy of Creators Syndicate, where he writes every week. So, Ashley, I love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Thank you for your time.
It's my honor. Thank you for having me.
Marcus Anthony Hunter, I appreciate you, my dear brother. I had a great time hanging out with you at your class, in your class this year at UCLA. One of the highlights of my year. Thank you, sir.
You already know King Tavis.
I appreciate you. Ruben Navarrete Jr., 30 years into this, man. We down like 4 flat tires. Happy holidays to you and your family, sir.
Likewise, brother. You know, you keep me around because there have been moments where you could not find a friend, but I'm always there for you.
I appreciate that. In our third and final hour today, looking back on the year that was and trying to imagine a brighter future for us, never mind the grimness that we are engulfed in right now. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., Nina Turner, and Nee Quarterly Corteg coming your way as Tavis Smiley continues into hour 3.